when I talked to J-Mac, what he kind of told me was he wanted to know, like, the biggest question for him was really, did this spark of creation come from something that was good or something that was evil, right? So as he sat there and talked to me, I remember, and I'm just going to go back to that moment. So I kind of remember like all of the spirits just kind of stepping forward from Butte, kind of like what they're doing right now. So what they basically told me was he got this inspiration because all of the souls and the spirits in Butte really want to have a voice, because there are so many souls here and they've never had a voice. What really happens a lot of times is they go into the buildings that are historical and everybody is doing their investigations, but they really don't take into account the spirits that are there. They're around us every single day. But that's really where he comes in, because he's bringing the love and the respect and actually opening people's eyes to the things that have happened here. Because way back in those days, like, Butte was not a really happy place to live. There was so much going on. And just from my own perspective, if I walk around Uptown Butte, I can see a lot of the souls that are here and feel a lot of the souls that are here. And even people that come into town, they can feel the energy just drop because it was so heavy back then, so heavy. And so that's what he's really here. That's what you're all here for. And he's asking me, like, how did we all come together? Because it's so crazy how we all came together. It's simple. Honestly, I feel like you guys are all part of the same soul group, and you guys all decided to do this with him. Does that make sense? So, but all the souls in Butte really need this. They really need that voice. They really need for you guys to just shout it out on the rooftops, period. And that's why. So this is not from anything evil, anything negative. It's coming from a perspective so that people, because you guys are creating the horror movie, so it's coming from the perspective so that, hang on a second, my guides are telling me, so that younger people understand, literally. So that you're taking a historical concept and a historical story, historical truth, and bringing it to light in a different way so that younger generations can actually understand it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So the stories that you're bringing to the screen here, this is exactly what you guys are meant to do, truly. And this is all coming from good sources, not negative ones.
So it isn't lost history.
Right.
It can continue.
Right.
And some vengeance.
Right. Right. And it's really interesting because the way he explained it to me is because, you know, the miners come up and they actually defend Tess. And that actually makes sense to me, but because I have brought my consciousness down into some of the mine shafts and stuff in Butte, and there's just so much sadness down there. I remember one time I went to a friend's house, and in her bathroom, her shower curtain kept moving like this, and I kept thinking, why? So I opened up her shower curtain, not to be nosy, but there was a man there, and he actually came from the mine, the one that exploded. And he just needed to be crossed over. He needed his voice. So you're bringing all of the souls from down below and all the souls up above together so that they can actually speak their truth. So it's all for good.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah. Those ones trapped, I can't even imagine.
No. I tried to cross them.
I'm like, nope, can't breathe, I'll die down there. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I try to cross as many of them as I can possibly over, the ones who really want to cross over. I mean, of course, poor Tess, she's kind of stuck here right now because she has that. And as far as I understand, she actually kind of contracted herself to be that way so that we could all be here in this moment to understand the paranormal. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, but it's kind of sad because the gentleman that's towering over her all the time is kind of, he runs that whole area over there by the Cabbage Patch. I'm sure you guys have seen that.
Yeah, that's what everybody mentions to me too. Mm-hmm. It's like not just Tessa's shack, but that other building has got a lot more.
And he's really not pretty. He's not
that's
nice.
The one, okay.
Yeah. So I thought what would be kind of cool is if you guys had any questions pertaining to any of that, pertaining to the souls of Butte, pertaining to the souls that are in the mine, pertaining to Tess.
Do you know why it's so negative around Butte?
Okay, so from my understanding, part of the reason it's so negative around Butte is because, okay, they're bringing me back to an image. One time I was up, I was doing a clearing at a building in Uptown Butte off of Broadway, and we went back into the alleyway. And when I went back into the alleyway, I remember seeing, it was like all this residual energy that I could see. There were people walking back and forth, but there was a man. He actually was stabbing people in the back of this alleyway. But I could also see people going into a speakeasy. I didn't know there was a speakeasy, but I could hear the clinking of glasses and smell booze. So I asked the gentleman who owned the building, I said, is there a speakeasy around here? And he said, yes, right there. But it was interesting to me because he was just killing so many people just in this dark alley. So I noticed, I remember one time I started walking through some of the other alleys up here, and there was just so much stuff happening in these alleyways. Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, very shady stuff.
Do you know why?
Ooh. There's a lot of police corruption. So, I'm just seeing, okay, so I'm seeing gangs, I'm seeing police corruption, but the other thing, so really dropping the energy of Butte, there's just a lot of death, of course. So we have the mine, we have, and of course I just see all this death around Uptown Butte. Especially out by the brothel, up in the Uptown area. I don't know if that makes sense or if that helps even answer your question.
Think about a human body for a second. Think about how if you get a sore, if you get a cut, God forbid if you get a really deep something in there.
Yeah.
It abscesses, it infects, it grows, everything around it is red and pussy. We live around a mine, a very, very deep mine, and that they've cut a big hole in the earth.
Yes.
There was copper.
And we took from it, and around the mine is a big scab.
That's true.
Butte has to heal for us ever to get rid of the negativity.
That's true. That's true.
That's why it's
No,
negative.
that's
I
very
agree
true.
with that.
It won't if it's forgotten.
Yeah.
Or if it becomes
And we have-
Bozeman, Los
People
Angeles.
came here for the
Yeah.
good life and they ended up
Yeah.
not getting that, and basically, slavery, the unions were born here, but I mean, the women, they had nothing really to do but become, whores and all that
Yeah.
stuff. There wasn't nothing for
They all
them.
came
There
here,
was
they all
just a lot
traveled
of
here.
oppression for the
Oh,
most
yeah.
part. So much. Yeah.
Well, a lot of them
But
was
you're
Irish.
absolutely right, because I'll be honest, when I first started my journey as a psychic medium, that was where my attention mostly was drawn to,
was
to
it?
heal the pit. So I would have
Okay.
friends, I would have light workers, we would actually go stand at the pit and do healings there.
Did you? Cool.
Yeah. So it actually makes sense to me.
Yeah, we kicked Mother Nature and
Yeah.
It's actually
Snapped
another
her.
one, and it was funny because it was a comparison photo I did from your book from the old area in Cabbage Patch, and then now. And we were looking, and right next to the shack, there's this huge pile of dirt, 5 stories, 6 stories high of this stuff. And we're like, in the middle of town, but in the Cabbage Patch too. So if anybody's noticed outside Sins, there's some tractors out there digging and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
I asked them when we went on a little investigation, I was like, hey, are they building something? I go, they changed into my view when I walk outside, and they're like, no. They go, they were gonna build something, and then they tested the soil, and the soil was poisoned, and they were building something for children, and children would be playing in that dirt, and when they tested it, they had to go back in there, and it was like, wait a minute, I went back to the picture, and it used to be a 6-story mountain of poisonous dirt that they
Two
had
shafts
swallowed.
in there. There's 2 shafts where that is. Across the Sins.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's 2 mine shafts.
so much
Oh, so that's exactly where it came out. It was like a gopher hole. I was
Yeah,
like, I'm looking at all these up here going
Yeah,
like,
no, there's 2 mine shafts right across where they're digging.
it was a mountain.
Yeah.
Well, that's how the Cabbage Patch started. It was
Was-
originally a mine claim, and it was owned by 2 different people. Nobody knew who owned the property because someone lived there, and then someone else bought the property, and they were digging underneath it. So while they didn't know who owned the property, people could live there rent-free, basically. So they started building their own shacks and everything. And that's basically what started the Cabbage Patch, because
Oh, wow.
they didn't have to pay anyone to be there.
There's one now in Southern California. Slab City.
Oh, sucks.
It's an old Marine base, and between the county and the government or whatever, they couldn't argue. They kept arguing who owned it, and everybody kept arguing until people moved in and started living on the plots, and now it's its own little post-apocalyptic city.
Oh, interesting.
Well, and that was another part of this movie, is like showing how, like a scene where a man's trying to get the cops' attention. He's an indigenous man, and he's trying to show a picture of his wife that's missing, and them just not even caring, just shoving him right back into the crowd and going inside.
Oh yeah.
And just showing how, like, this is 1912, and we still get alerts for people that no one even cares to look for.
History
It's like,
repeats
it's
itself,
appalling.
always will. We don't learn.
Yeah.
Well, right.
And same things happen now as it was back then. It's just
tried to
it's just
explain that
prettier
too.
now, and we got better technology. Nothing's changed. People are still the same.
1912 was a pretty booming time here. It would have been a clean city, uptown and stuff. I mean, dirty as in like corrupt, but
Oh,
the
still,
bricks, I
it's
mean,
dirty.
the windows, everything would have been
it's
shiny
a lot dirty.
and new. And it wouldn't have been, it wasn't like wasn't the Depression, it was, but there was a lot of poor people, and they were getting taken advantage of.
Well, and like,
There's no
There was
laws.
the Clark, they had the Matt, and then there was just the rest of everyone else. Same as it is today.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, you know how they came here, don't you? You know,
We used to have a little bit.
people came to Butte, right?
Right.
From the Ellis Island.
Well, yeah, it was the whole Butte America thing. They
Yeah, so there are people who were like literally famine in their own country come here that poor, coming straight to Butte.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's how we got the corruption and shit everywhere.
And then we thought they'd make their millions here, and then they just worked in the mine until they died.
Yeah.
We got
Well,
unions, and
they
then
did. The rich
Or
dug up
unless
everything
they
left.
died,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
like you
yeah,
said.
and they're still paying for it today. We're still getting money for it, and our soil will never be okay, and our groundwater will never be okay.
No, but the people will, and that's, I think, what.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I love this town, and
Absolutely.
I'd hate for it to be taken over by Denver and Los Angeles and
Yeah,
everybody
no, we don't
else.
want
and-
that. We want it,
No.
you know,
And that
we
was
move
like
forward
my-
from some of the historic, but we need to preserve and remember. You
I
know,
call
that's-
this a project more, and I keep talking to you.
Well, that's okay. Are you guys all Butte natives?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Kinda, sorta. My family's from Butte.
Okay.
No, that would have been my other
Yes.
question to you, was like, was I
Been here
to
since
you
I
in
was
a past
13.
life, and that's why I've come
I
back.
actually do hear a yes that you were Butte in a past. Like, you know what? Actually, let me just double check what I'm seeing here. Okay, so anything I ever say, I tell people if it resonates, keep it. If it doesn't, throw it out, okay? It does actually look like I do see you actually living in the Cabbage Patch, which is interesting. Yeah.
Not, if you knew me, it wouldn't be. I live in an RV most of the time, just because
No,
I want
it
to.
makes sense to me though, because I've seen people, like one time I was doing a paranormal exploration of the Picky Moss, and I remember picking up this energy in this one room, and it felt like the previous owner, because I didn't know much about him at the time. I do now, but it felt like he was actually there in a past life. Like he actually was part of the Dumas brothel.
You talking
In
about
the early
Michael?
days.
Michael
Michael something or other.
Michael
Yeah.
Pesci. Okay, so like that, he moved into that house
Yeah.
before he ever owned the brothel, and the owner of the brothel
That's
owned
what they
the
told me.
house.
That's what they told me.
So like I believe we had a falling out kind of 2 weeks before he died. Mm-hmm. So I when he first got the Dumas, we raised a lot of money to get the water turned on.
Yeah.
Had the mayor there and everything.
Yeah.
And this other paranormal team, Mining City Paranormal, really screwed things up for everybody.
Oh, I've heard bad tales about that.
I mean, to the point where it was like, well, I'm gonna go back to prison. I'm gonna kill this bitch. I gotta quit ghost hunting. Literally, and that's how it was.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm recording.
sweet.
Oh no.
That would be funny. I'm like,
It's okay. I'm editing
it's
too.
gonna be leaked out. That was being funny.
I didn't kill her.
We just
Let's get that straight.
difference.
I wanted to.
Theoretically.
Huge difference. So when the Dead Files went in there, that's the only paranormal show that I think is anywhere close to being legit.
Same.
Okay, you got the guy who's the detective, goes out and does his thing. They meet up. So I'm watching this, and he draws a picture of the owner. The detective's the one who found out about the house.
Interesting.
Told him. And long story short, I felt so horrible because I seen him in town pump. He was on heroin. I mean,
That's what they told me, because I felt.
but he killed himself on purpose. I don't know if it was him that did it, but anybody that's ever spent any amount of time in the Dumas brothel, any amount,
That's some heavy stuff.
bad shit has happened.
Yeah. 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 No, I totally get
I'm on
it.
the phone right on there.
I liked hanging out there.
This
did
dude,
too.
he
I
loved.
enjoy
I
it.
mean,
Spent a whole year there.
I can't lie, my favorite stuff is that basement, because I love the speakeasy.
And I think it's because me and Rudy found so much stuff that was still hidden and knocking down walls, and you know, we found the ashtray that still had the cigarette butt with lipstick on it. I mean, it was frozen, and I was like, "This is amazing!"
cool.
And the energy, I love it. You know, I felt bad for so many of those girls and the shit they went through, and then
well, that's why I didn't like
and it's
how Haunted Collector did that to him. Like, you were fucking lying about what went on here. You know, why do that?
So I didn't know.
It is sad when you walk.
The only reason I knew is because somebody that worked on there who signed it. I didn't sign it. I could say anything.
So they said,
you
they said
told
a bunch
me.
of bullshit?
Yeah,
I
you
didn't know
know.
that. I never watched it.
I signed it.
Did you? But you know, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. I didn't care. Sue me. It was so faked.
Yeah. And there's so much good. I mean, there's energy there. I mean, as soon as you walk in, you don't need to fake shit. I mean, you just.
We were sitting there one time doing one of the hunts and sitting right next to the phone in Ruby's room, and it started ringing.
Yes.
Literally started
And
ringing.
it was unplugged.
Unplugged.
Unplugged. Clear upstairs, the most lightest. I think it's the lightest.
Of
up there.
course.
Oh yeah.
You're
It had the light.
Oh, when we gave the tour, though, we went back the next week to do our own little investigation. There was like 10 of us there. We had a dude in the basement.
Yep.
We sent him down there because he was a scaredy cat. And we've got cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
So I was gonna get on my walkie. Remember, I was gonna tell Hannah to tell him something would walk by him. Sure as shit, we're on the main floor watching as it happens. This shadow
I believe it.
passes right by him. I mean,
So I remember, the last time I was there, was it like January of last year? I remember walking out of the bathroom and I looked up and I saw this shadow move all the way across the wall, and I went, that's where we're gonna do our paranormal investigation next, because it went back, you know where that exit is, and I can't remember, if I remember right, there's an exit to the alleyway.
Yep.
That's exactly where we went, and the team comes up and goes, Steph, we're gonna go down this hallway and do the exploration, and I went, don't you say, I didn't even know that, because I watched it go all the way back. It was waiting for us. It was wild. I mean, I can see things, but that was just so pronounced to me that blew my mind.
about 4 or 5 of us that night, something bad happened to us.
Well, there's good and bad energy in there. I mean,
Something right after we seen that attached itself to 5 or 6 of us. We all had come down with the same symptoms. We
Yeah,
were
that's
shaking
crazy.
uncontrollably. The head was going to explode. I literally sat in the shower for 40 minutes till it went away.
See, it's funny. I hear when you go in there to explore and actually do the investigation. I think people don't like it sometimes, and that's why they suffered. Like, I was there to work,
It's not
so I never experienced any of that. I never went there for an
but I've had
investigation.
so many people who have. I have friends who won't go in there.
Get the story back on track. If anybody has seen Eddie's reaction, she is going to be, or was going to be, one of our volunteers to investigate.
Hell yeah! You gotta go in there with a clear mind.
Yeah.
You do. So just walk out.
Always
I have a question. So the night that all this came to
We're the loud ones.
fruition, I did not go to the actual tour with them. I had stayed home because I don't do spooky things, because when I was a kid, I could see things. And I'm sure you
Yes.
I don't know if you picked up on that.
I have.
'cause,
A lot of you are very into this.
I saw a lot of stuff when I was a kid. I don't see it as much now as an adult, but I didn't go. I didn't feel like I wanted to. I was freaked out. And then we joined together after, and we had a night of fun, drinks, all that. And the night, every single one of my friends that went on that haunted tour got viciously ill. Is that connected in any way to how this all got started?
No, I hear a no. It's just that there are some really, and as you guys know, there are some really heavy energies in the Dumas brothel. There really is. Honestly, do you believe in angels? Because I see a couple standing behind you. So they're telling me that you're going to be protected. All you do before you go in there is you just ask your angels to surround you with love and light. And here's the other thing. This is my understanding from what my guides tell me all the time. Stephanie, nothing can go into your space, into your bubble, unless you allow it. Because I have seen some really nasty stuff, and I have had some really nasty stuff try to attack me. But you can always kick it out of your space. They might throw things around in your physical environment, but they can't come in your bubble, and that's what's really important. Does that make sense? Does that help a little? You're gonna be safe in there, but you have to go in there with the right mindset. And also, before you even step foot on the property, ask your angels to just come and surround you with love and light for the whole time. Make sense? Okay.
And we'll sage you and all that good stuff.
Yes.
I got all that stuff.
I mean, my guys are telling me she knows how to handle this stuff, so you're gonna be golden. Okay?
Thank you.
Tell you what, there's anger's on it. Like, her room always, like,
I know.
it was fun, but there was
I would
anger
never
there
put you in a
sometimes.
position that would
And I was
ever,
like, I'd feed off that, I'd be
right now,
pissy.
that would be a
No, at the Dumas.
What I do?
No, at the Dumas. I go in there, and it was great, but sometimes it was like anger, and then I was like pissy for the rest of the day. But I never got sick, but I get the anger, and I already have anger, so.
Yeah.
But I think besides that,
okay? You're gonna be fine.
like I said, some people have that. I think these guys can handle more of that, so I think that's why you guys get exposed to more, because you're looking for more, so you feel more, and like she said, heavy up there. But like you, I think you're just kind of wanting to observe and experience it, but kind of too scared. But yeah,
Before I leave, can I help you just do a few things so that you know that you're protected? Okay. I'll do that before I leave, okay? Okay.
Question for you.
What's up?
The guy at the Cabbage Patch.
Yes.
I've been wanting to I've been wanting to set her free for a while, but I've been wanting to take care of him.
Me and both. Yeah.
How do we get another
I
soul
want to get rid
us
of
to
him.
take care of him?
I want to take care of him.
He was gone the last time I was there.
You haven't seen him? When was the last time you were there? I haven't been there for
It was
4 or 5 years, so.
when we were doing the movie.
What movie?
Remember when we took Lydia and John's daughter?
Oh, when we did Dead 7. Oh,
Yeah, that's when we went there, and
Oh,
it wasn't
we
him.
brought a bunch of actors over there, right? And we had the women actors, whoever they were, went over and did their thing in the Cabbage Patch,
Yeah.
and a lot of them were drunk.
Ooh, that's
Women
not
in the
good.
Then,
Make sure when you go
The
into
guys
these
went
buildings,
into
you're not
Myra.
intoxicated.
Why?
What happens?
because it opens you up to a lot of attacks.
It opens
I
your
get
aura.
drunk.
It opens your
I get drunk and get high.
I'm talking about during an investigation.
Yeah, I used to.
Okay.
It opens me up more. I get more open. I get more open.
Technically, it would
Sure, there was
be
drinking
beautiful.
there going on. So you
It
joined the
would be
party.
beautiful.
More shit happens when I do that.
But one of the ladies who did one of the ladies who did makeup, something attacked her. Do you remember that? The lady, when she
No,
come
it
out.
was the daughter.
No, it wasn't Chloe. Chloe didn't even attend that.
The fuck? She was crying.
She went to.
She was crying.
Oh, wait, she went to the
I'm so
Cabbage Patch.
scared. Oh God, they're gonna attack me. And I'm like, oh my God, Jesus fucking Christ. No, they're not.
So
It was
one of them got attacked, and she went in there. When she came out, how she was stumbling around, the look on her face of how scared and terrified. She wouldn't say a word to nobody. Something had happened to her.
I believe it. I've seen people run out of the. I'm not trying to freak you out, but I've seen people run out of there, run out of the cabin.
See, this
Well,
is
you started in. I've never
Listen.
had anyone afraid on my tours.
Well, that's because you give the mediocre ones. You gotta let them know what's really out there.
Well,
You can't shield them from that shit.
I'm not gonna scare the shit out of them. I'm like,
do that to her. Okay, we're gonna talk.
I am not trying to scare you or anything. I have a lot of shit, and I will sage you. I've got
Eddie,
good
trust me.
stuff.
I have had some stuff that has tried to attack me, and I have literally sent it to the light. So don't you worry. I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that. Okay?
And this is
It's
no
not gonna be
different
hard.
than going into a haunted place right now here than stepping into
I
Safeway.
promise you, there's
Spirits
ghosts in
and
this house.
evils
There are.
everywhere.
yeah, I know.
You know,
And yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We are the living. We control what goes on here. We are in charge. You show fear, you show everything, you give them an opening. You are the one in charge in this realm. Period. On that side, they can go in front of you all they want. Is that gonna bother you? You're gonna feel them there because you have those gifts. But are they gonna hurt you like I do? No, they're not. They're not gonna do anything.
All right, Amber.
They might try to talk to you a little bit. They might try to show you some pictures a little bit here and there. They're not gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Promise you. If anything, if they make noise, if they cross stuff, they're getting your attention because they want to be heard.
They want to scare you. The thing
No.
is, go ahead.
They don't want to scare you. They want your attention. They want, oh God, someone who's gifted, someone who can feel me. Oh my God, hear me. And when you don't hear them, then they smack things around a little bit. Jesus. To get your attention. Literally, that's what it is. So
I will say it depends on the soul. If it's somebody who's negative, I have noticed that they do try to move stuff around to try to scare you. If it's somebody who's just trying to get your attention, if it's a good soul, they do that too.
I mean, there's bad people and
I
there's
guess.
bad
Right.
dead people, you know.
We're
so
not
there's gonna be that
trying to
the same
get you
on
not
each
to
side.
do it or anything.
If you don't feel it,
Listen, I've been doing
don't
this
do it,
for
don't
over
do it.
10 years, and I've been bitten, I've been scratched. That's not, for me,
Not helping.
for me, they're trophies. They're like, yes, I got a scratch, or I got a
He
bite.
also
Because
says-
that's also evidence that I can show somebody I don't believe.
And he also sits
You
in
know
the
what I
middle of the room
mean?
going, bastard, come hit me, come bite me, you piece of shit.
I don't do that no more.
Oh, you don't?
Nope.
Okay, he did.
But everyone has their different anxieties. You thrive off it. She is, you know, there's different energies there. So there, give it a chance. If you don't like it, get out. You know, if you don't like
That's why we're
it,
not
get
telling
you
you
out
to
of
do
there.
it or
He
not to do it. I
welcomes
would
that
never make
stuff.
you do anything.
Yeah, he
That's just me though, so if you don't want to be on Team John, I totally get it. If you want to be on Team Care Bear,
My hope is to send him in with like the higher profile people and like, scratch and like look at Mayor goes running out of the building because he's got blood scratches on his face.
dude, check it out, Mayor! No, the whole reason I even got into paranormal is I lost my mom and dad here a long time ago to a terrible way, murder-suicide. And I seen it, and my dad, I felt like he was chasing me. I still felt his spirit. So I was always intrigued after that. So it took a long time, because obviously I was a fuck up for a long time. But once I got out, I decided I walked around life not knowing if I even had a purpose. You know, why does God keep doing this? Because I've been through a lot of fucked up shit. And so why I get into it now and my heart's into it is because, one, maybe I'll run across my mom again someday. You know what I'm saying? Two, there are people out there that really need help. I mean, let's say you got a haunting at your house. Who are you gonna tell that's not gonna say you're fucking crazy? I won't. So I believe that every decision that's based off of what we make is influenced by the other side.